You really want this on video?
I pull it. I'm mad enough to just pull it.
Your neighbors are going to see you point your gun at me. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
It begins with fear on the line. The call to Harris County 911 comes in from a concerned neighbor in the Glenlock neighborhood. The voice on the other end is shaky, urgent. They report what they've just heard. 3 loud pops, too sharp to be a car backfire, too fast to be fireworks. The caller steps outside, looks toward a nearby driveway, and sees the kind of scene no one forgets. A body on the pavement. Blood on the chest. Blood at the mouth. Dispatch pinpoints the location, the 19,800 block of Rosedon Lane, just minutes away for first responders. Sirens rise in the distance. The neighborhood still is suddenly very awake. Officers arrive quickly. Their headlights rake across a white car in the driveway, a Tesla, tires dark and still. Beside the vehicle lies a woman, no movement. Standing near her is a man wearing only a bathrobe. He's unsteady, his speech slurred, his behavior unsettling. The officers act fast. Hands behind his back. Secure the scene. Ask the basic questions. Where's the weapon? Is anyone else inside? The man offers little help, no clear answers. What he does ask for over and over is another drink. He appears heavily intoxicated. Whether that's true theater or both, it's too early to tell. With the man detained, officers turn to the scene. 3 spent shotgun shells are found, 2 near the Tesla's tires, and 1 connected with a fatal head wound to the victim. At first glance, a theory flickers a grim mishap. 2 shots at the car's tires, 1 tragic stray. It has happened before. But a crime scene is a puzzle, and this one has pieces waiting just off the driveway. Detectives canvass the area and secure surveillance footage from the neighborhood. On camera, a woman appears later identified as 48-year-old Patricia Birmingham holding her phone tightly, as if she's recording. Moments later, a man in a bathrobe is seen chasing her down the street. Whatever happened here tonight didn't start with a single gunshot. It started earlier. The man in custody is identified, 60-year-old Carrie Birmingham, Patricia's husband. He's not just a passerby. He's part of the scene and the story. Witnesses and videos suggest an argument moving from inside the home to the street. But why? And where's the gun? As officers try to keep him calm, Carrie's behavior lurches between indignant and erratic. He insists he's not a criminal. He asks to sit in his living room. He wants vodka with cranberry juice. And then, almost as if to puncture the silence, he blurts a confession of sorts. It isn't a full account. It isn't even coherent, but it's enough to freeze everyone in place. Confessions, however, are not golden tickets. Detectives know words need evidence. They'll get it. With a warrant, investigators search the property. Inside the home, leaning in the kitchen near the side door, they find a Benelli shotgun. Forensics will later match it to the shells outside. There are other firearms in the house too, but this one will matter most. In the garage, another clue waits Patricia's phone. The same phone neighbors saw her clutching as she moved down the street. It has blood on it. The device is secured, logged, and sent for analysis. Phones don't forget. They timestamp. They capture. And sometimes they record what a person can't safely say out loud. With judicial approval, investigators examine Patricia's phone. Among the texts and apps and photos, they find what amounts to a witness with perfect memory, a secret audio recording. It starts in the house, sharp words, cutting tone, a familiar rhythm of accusation and defense. It sounds like an argument that has happened before. There's criticism about weight, about health, about not doing enough. It escalates verbal abuse that erodes dignity. And then the argument shifts. Patricia's voice tightens, warning, pleading, "Don't touch me. Do not touch me, Carrie." She mentions threats. She mentions fear for herself, for their daughter. Then comes a sentence that chills investigators who've seen this pattern. Go get your gun. She isn't challenging him. She's documenting a pattern. That sentence suggests a history, not a surprise. A history where weapons have been used not just as tools, but as leverage. To understand what happened, detectives widen the lens. They speak with Patricia's friends. The picture that emerges is troubling. Patricia confided that Carrie had pulled a gun on her more than once. His drinking had become a problem. His behavior erratic. The loving image many had of the couple successful, social, going places was fractured behind closed doors. Friends were stunned. How could someone so accomplished, so poised, be dealing with threats at home? But abuse often thrives in places people think it couldn't possibly exist. The recording and the neighborhood CCTV line up in time and tone. After the argument inside, Patricia steps outside, not running, but moving away, trying to create space. She keeps recording. On video, Carrie follows her out into the street, still in his bathrobe. He taunts, belittles, embarrasses. It's not just a marital dispute anymore, it's public humiliation. Patricia, breathing hard, tries to keep distance. She films as he moves up and down the street. The phone captures their voices, the crunch of gravel, the hush of a neighborhood that doesn't yet know it's witnessing a prelude. People in danger develop instincts. Tonight, Patricia's instinct is to record to capture what might otherwise be his word against hers. She's calm but alert. She's scared but strategic. Then, a shift. Carrie appears to head back toward the house. The chase pauses. The tone drops. Is it over? He knows he's being recorded. He knows neighbors could be watching. He knows police can be called. And yet, moving quietly, he makes a calculated choice. In domestic violence cases, a lull can be the most dangerous moment. The abuser seems to retreat. The victim exhales. Doors open. Steps move closer. That's when plans turn into actions. Back at the house, the recording captures a chilling escalation. Patricia warns him again, "Your neighbors are going to see you pointing your gun at me." The words place the weapon in context, visible, present, and in play. It's not bravado. It's a warning that witnesses might exist. Investigators later note something telling. Carrie looks toward the neighbors, aware he could be seen. He checks his firearm, manipulating it to ensure it can fire. The signs of intent aren't shouted. They're dumb. What happens next is brief and irreversible. 3 shots ring out. One strikes Patricia in the head. She collapses. The other 2 shots go into her car's tires, disabling the vehicle she might have used to escape. The medical examiner notes additional blunt force injuries consistent with a struggle or fall. The facts, while difficult to hear, matter. They support a narrative not of panic, but of control. And then, quiet. The kind of silence that comes after a noise you can't take back. In the moments after the shooting, the recording picks up movement, breathing, shuffling. Carrie is near her. The phone is moved, eventually ending up in the garage where police later find it. There's no frantic call for help. No attempt to undo what's been done. Instead, there are words that sound like rationalization. A shifting of blame onto the person who can no longer respond. For investigators, these details matter. They talk about state of mind, about remorse or the lack of it, about actions that paint intention in shades no jury can ignore. By now, detectives have 3 kinds of evidence pointing in the same direction. 1. Physical evidence. The Benelli shotgun inside the home. Shell casings in the driveway. The damaged tires. 2. Digital evidence. The secret audio. The neighborhood CCTV. The phone's metadata. 3. Testimonial evidence. Statements from friends about prior threats, escalating drinking, and fear. Each type alone is compelling. Together, they form a triangle of proof consistent, mutually reinforcing, and powerful. Motive isn't required by law, but juries want to understand it. In recorded audio, Carrie accuses Patricia of an affair, a claim tied to jealousy and anger. Detectives investigate but find no evidence to support it. What they do find is a pattern: alcohol, control, humiliation, and threats. A storm that had been building for longer than a single bad night. And yet, the audio doesn't just suggest rage. It suggests preparation. A man aware of neighbors, aware of being filmed, checking his weapon before stepping forward. To outsiders, Carrie and Patricia appeared conventional, even enviable. They had a daughter, Olivia, and the outward signs of success: careers, travel, dinner parties. Friends described Carrie as polished, proud of his work in insurance, always talking about the finer things. But behind the curated photos and polite smiles were financial strains, growing alcohol dependency, and a marriage slipping into control and fear. Families often see pieces of the mosaic. Only when tragedy strikes do those pieces form the full picture. Detectives later call this case unlike any other. Not because domestic violence turned lethal, sadly. That's far too common, but because of the quality of the evidence. Patricia's decision to record captured 30 continuous minutes leading up to the shooting. The argument. The fear. The attempt to create distance. The pursuit. The gun. The 3 shots. That recording became Patricia's voice in a room she could no longer enter. It showed, not just told, what had been happening behind closed doors. With evidence in hand, prosecutors charged Carrie Birmingham with murder. During interrogation, he exercises his right to remain silent. No explanation. No alternate narrative. The case will be made without him. And it can be. The law is built to move forward with facts, not just statements. The facts here, physical, digital, testimonial, are more than enough to proceed. March 2024. The case goes to trial. Prosecutors present the digital timeline, the physical evidence and testimony that shows a pattern of threats. The defense makes a different argument. Sudden passion. A claim that the killing wasn't premeditated but driven by an immediate surge of emotional distress. In some jurisdictions, sudden passion can reduce the severity of punishment, even where guilt is clear. It doesn't say a death didn't occur. It says why it did impulsively, not deliberately. An all-woman jury deliberates. They accept the sudden passion argument. The sentence: 10 years in prison, a $5,000 fine, and parole eligibility after 5 years. For Olivia, the verdict is a second fracture. She tells the court and the world what it felt like to lose both parents in one day. Her mother to violence. Her father to the act he committed. She rejects the idea that this was sudden, that a person simply snaps and does something like this without building toward it. To her, the recording tells a different story, one of escalation, awareness, and a final, fatal choice. Children in cases like this carry the longest sentence. The timeline doesn't end with a gavel. It stretches across holidays, milestones, and memories that should have been. This case isn't just a headline or a docket number. It's a lens into how domestic abuse can escalate, how public humiliation, alcohol abuse, and access to firearms can intersect with catastrophic results. It shows why documentation matters, why friends should listen for coded language like, "He pulled a gun before," why neighbors should call when they hear what sounds like gunfire, and why victims sometimes record not to provoke, but to protect. It also shows the limits of the legal system's labels. Sudden passion doesn't erase a recorded timeline. It doesn't quiet the 3 shots or reverse the checks on a weapon's safety. It's a legal frame placed over a human calamity. In the end, you can feel someone trying to carve out space to breathe. You can recognize the pivot between an argument and an assault. The evidence doesn't scream, it accumulates piece by piece until the picture becomes undeniable. On Rosedon Lane, the truth didn't hide behind hearsay or vanish into the gaps of memory. It lived in a phone that recorded every step toward a decision and every echo after. That's why the case resonated. That's why it matters. For Patricia. For Olivia. For any person who thinks no one will believe them unless they can prove it. Sometimes the most powerful witness is the one already in your hand. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous situation at home, please reach out. In the United States, you can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAF, 7233, or text START to 88788. Help is available 24/7. This has been 30 Minutes to Midnight, the Patricia Birmingham case. Thank you for listening. Take care of each other.